Again, everyone. So it's FTP test day. Really not looking forward to this. So this week is test week again, like I did in the videos earlier on in the year when I originally started this program. It was kicked off with the test week. So it's going to be really interesting to see how I've progressed over the last 6-7 weeks now that it's been doing the program that I bought from Training Peaks by Phil Mosley. So I've just set up my road bike. I've had my TT bike on the turbo, but I've put the road bike back on, mainly because I did the first test 6-7 weeks ago on the road bike, and I thought I'd rather do it a like for like. So there is a slight difference. I've had a bike fit since having done my first FTP test on the bike, so it'll be interesting to see how much of a difference that makes. But also I think it's going to be really hard to gauge because I would have had now 6 weeks, 7 weeks worth of training under my belt as well. So I'm hoping to get an improvement on the last one. So if you hadn't seen, the last one that I did was 289 was my FTP. I dropped from last year where I was 314, which was expected because obviously I had a break in between the last race and sort of starting the new program just to fully recover. And then what I've done is I built it up over probably a month before starting the program, slowly getting into cycling and running, but really easy efforts, but nothing like what I was doing at the back end of last year. So now that I've done consistent training for six weeks, there should be, I'm hoping, at least maybe not a significant difference, but a difference. So I'm hoping maybe to get back into the 300s again, but we'll see, and only time will tell. I don't like these tests, they hurt, but this is one of those things where it's a no pain, no gain sort of situation. So although it's physically doesn't hurt, and mentally, well, if I say physically, it does hurt, but it's a good hurt, if that makes sense. So I'm about to hop on the bike. It's my lunch break. It's only a 20-minute test, which is great. I'll do a 20-minute warm-up beforehand, 20 minutes of the test, 5-10-minute cool down, and I'm back to work before the hour's up. So that's one of the perks, I suppose, working from home. I was going to do it this morning, but again, just keeping with the theme of trying to keep the elements or everything the same in terms of how I tested last time. I did it in my lunch break the last time. And the only thing I will change is I'm probably going to open a couple of windows today, and it was a bit hot last time, but we'll see. So going to get ready now, and I will be back soon with the result. Finally done with that FTP. It hurt, to be honest, and it's taken me a little while before recording this to do as I've had a shower. I'm just about to get back to work, but really what I wanted to say straight away is I made a massive error from my previous or my first test in that I forgot to reduce my average power by 5%, which is how Zwift actually works out your FTP. So if you didn't know that, that's a key point. So Zwift will pop up with your FTP at the end of the test, but I missed that on the first one, probably because I was dying and I had my head down. But anyway, I just took my average 20-minute power and put that as my FTP, but I should have taken 5% from that average power. Anyway, it is what it is, and I've been training for the last 6-7 weeks at the wrong FTP. Luckily, it wasn't a huge difference, but we're still talking maybe 15-20 watts from what it is now anyway, but it doesn't really matter. But the reason it flagged up to me was because I could see my average power was a lot higher, and you can see it in there because I've showed you my first test to this one, but my FTP was lower, so I couldn't believe it. I was at 282 for my FTP. So that's what I finished on for this ride. And I was like, how have I gone backwards? How the hell have I gone backwards? Because I pushed a lot harder. I felt better. I did have some issues. My chain came off the top ring and it wouldn't go back on. So ultimately, I couldn't put down as much power as I wanted to in the last 10 minutes. And that was sort of the game plan, if you like, was to ride hard for 10 minutes and then push really hard for 5 minutes and then give everything for another 5 minutes. But either way, it doesn't matter. It is what it is. It just meant my cadence was a lot higher trying to push the power on the lower ring. But these things happen. It can happen in a race. So I don't use them as an excuse, but that's where we are. So anyway, my FTP is 282, but if I worked it out, it's still an increase because if I take my old 20-minute power and take the 5% off, I've still had a nice increase. So what that means to me is the program's working, and that's really the key takeaway for me. And that's what all I wanted to see from the FTP test, and that's why I do them, is to see improvements. So I don't know if I've got one again in 6 weeks. I don't know if I'll do it again in 6 weeks if I do. So we'll just see how it goes. For me, it's all about confidence booster to say that, you know what, this program's working. I'm glad, because although it wasn't a load of money, it's still money, obviously, but I was worried switching from a coach to a program if I was going to get the same gains. So far, so good. We're getting there. We're building up. I'm feeling stronger, which is good. So time will tell. Like I said, we only sort of 7 weeks, 8 weeks into the program now. So there'll be a bigger ramp up coming, which is good. I've got one more test, which is the run on Saturday. I'm going to do the park run and get my 5K test on there. And I'll be testing some of the Nike Alpha Flies to see if, do you know what, are they worth the money for a mediocre age grouper? So the majority of us that are probably watching this channel, and definitely for me, is, do you know what, we're always looking for those extra gains, and I spend £250 on a pair of shoes to try and get those gains, but I actually don't really know if they're giving me anything. Obviously for the elites and the top runners and triathletes, etc., it probably makes a difference to them, but for us, does it really make any difference? Time to tell. So Saturday, I will be putting them to the test, and I will share the results with you. So thanks for watching. Hope that's helped. Obviously, I made an error, but hopefully you can learn from my error. And like I said, it hasn't had a drastic effect on my overall training. The idea is, so you get your FTP tests results, so you can put them into Training Peaks and Garmin. So it's more just to help with your training and getting the power zones right, so that you're not overtraining or you overworking, underworking, etc. So that's why it's important, and that's the only real reason I see as having the FTP done accurately, is to avoid injuries and overtraining. So that is really the idea. But if you've got any questions, let me know in the comments. I'm sure other people will jump in and help as well if I don't know the answer. Otherwise, I'll go out and find the answer for you. Hope that's helped. Thanks for watching.